Hi, you guys. So this is the story. Good morning. I hope you guys are having a good morning. Um, this is a story that I was talking about yesterday, where I was saying that there was a recent case in Houston because the four people that were arrested in this story, they were from Houston, um, but they were arrested in Nashville. They went and robbed an ATM technician while he was working on the machine. And then they went to a motel outside of Nashville to stay there. One of the guys had rented a car there in Nashville. So I guess he was going to take that car back. And then the other three people got into a Jeep that had a Houston license plate. Um, so the police was watching them, detectives were watching them, and they arrested them once they got in the cars. Once the individual who was taking the rental car back, I guess, when he took off, they went after him. And then when the guy that I'm going to talk about, his name is Ladajan Riley. He goes by 12 Jug God here on YouTube. Now, the media was calling him a rapper, some of the media. I see that Newsweek, they did not call him that. Um, and I said this before too. I think that it's the thing when you keep calling people rappers, when you keep like that saying goes, when you keep telling a lie, the lie becomes the truth, right? Everybody's not a rapper. Just because I can come on here and start rapping. Do that make me a rapper? Do that make me somebody who think that I'm a rapper? Right? So there is a difference. And so, but the media, when they put these stories out there, because when this story first came out, they were saying that he was a rapper and that he was out here, rapping about a life of crime. And this is kind of how I'm tying all of this in to whatever else is going on in rap music right now. And so that's what I'm saying. When you keep calling all these people rappers and you're tying them to all this criminal activity, and then you actually have rappers out here saying all this stuff as well, then it's no longer just storytelling. This is reality, right? Even though people are trying to say, oh, it's just art. But is it just art when you have situations like this, where this guy is out here actually going around doing what he said in the song? And the song is called Make It Home. I had a video, but I don't have the video up right now. So, but that picture, this is from the actual video, Make It Home. And in the song, he's saying that we get out here and we go from state to state. We rob ATMs or banks. And then, well, he kind of says it his own way. I think he calls it jugging because that's his name, 213 Jug God. He calls it jugging. He's going around jugging across the country, and then they get the money and they have a car full of money and they hope they make it home, right? Or he hopes that he makes it home. Um, and I went to listen to the song. It's here on YouTube, and I noticed that his page was not, he had well when I saw the video because it may have more clicks on it now because this was like a week or so ago. It had like 200 views on there, right? And I think he had like 300 subscribers. And so you're calling this man a rapper. Like, what part of that? What are you guys saying with that? Because hip hop and rap music, that is a genre of music and that is a profession. That's a profession. You should not be throwing that title around for everyone, right? Just because I'm an aspiring rapper, do not mean that you get to now give me that title and put that out there in the universe like rappers are out here really doing this stuff. And then you wondering why this lady is bringing a RICO charge against some rappers, right? And so that's what it's that part. And I feel like the people who have, I'm not the person that need to have the voice to speak up, and I'm not even trying to sit here and pretend like I think I'm that person. It's people that's out here who really should have that do have a voice that should be saying what I'm saying. That's my point. There are people out here that should be speaking up and saying, you know what, this don't sound right. This something's wrong with this, the way this is happening. Because what we're seeing is we're watching guys under 30, because all these people are under 30. 213 Jug is 30 years old, and now he's about to spend a majority of the rest of his life probably in prison. Um, because they're now looking at a bunch of robberies and they're going to match up these things with these people. So that's why I'm saying that. And if they can pin all of these robberies on these guys across the country, that's what they're going to do. And we all understand that. I think we get that. Because clearly he was being investigated. You know, we have already tried to say, like, some of this YouTube stuff is going to get cracked. They're going to crack down on some of the stuff that's going on YouTube. It's a lot of stuff that's going on YouTube. Okay. Whether you're aware of that or not, you know, this is a whole world of stuff going on the service, on this platform. Um, and so there could be people that are looking into it. There could be a division you know, that are they have created to look into some of these platforms, from YouTube to Facebook, all of it. You see people on here committing crimes on Facebook, right? And doing all kind of other stuff while they're filming it. Um, so yeah, they're gonna start cracking down on some of this stuff, and there are other songs besides that song where he kind of says the same thing as well, that he's going around doing this and doing that. And so once they hear you saying this, all they have to do is put a car on you, put two people or one person to follow you around, and to see if you're really doing the stuff that you say you're doing. And it turns out they're really doing the stuff that he was saying that he was doing. And so this is where it becomes problematic for the Young Thug and the Gunners, right? And whoever else they go after. Because you have people who really are saying these things in this music or in songs that they're uploading on these streaming services, and then they're really out here living it. And so you don't get to pretend like this is just about freedom of speech, because it's not. And just because you have freedom of speech do not mean that you should use it in these ways. And that's kind of the point. And the fact that people are not, that, like I said, that are not speaking up, it's telling as well, because they're probably just making money off of watching these kids die, right? And I'm just going to go on and call that what it is. And that's why they're not saying anything. And like Chuck D told us, every brother is not a brother. All these people, just because they're in same skin tone as us, they don't care about nobody. Like, they make it clear anyway. And so you should understand that. Nobody's looking out for you. Nobody's going to tell you that, you know, hey, it's probably not a good idea to put that in your songs, right? Find something, because the guy, I was listening to some of the songs. I mean, he's good at telling stories. He's definitely good at what he added. Um, he probably should have focused more on writing, or focused more on what he was trying to do, instead of going out doing all this other stuff. Um, and so that it's unfortunate in that way. But there's no common sense in you going and uploading a song telling people that you're doing these things, and somebody could follow you and really see you doing just what you're saying you're doing in these songs. Like, if you're really doing these things, why are you talking about it in this music? Why are these people even allowing? And I'm not talking about him, because clearly he was not a rapper the way they want to paint that. But you know, some of the ones that have these record deals, you know, why are these record companies and these people in this industry allowing these people to do this? Why are these grown ass men? And I was happy, even though I don't really necessarily care for Steven Jackson like that, but I was happy that he spoke up and said that. Like, y'all need to knock that shit off. Y'all do. Y'all need to knock it off. It's not okay. It's not cute, and nobody thinks you're bad. You running around with security. No, nobody thinks that you're the hardest rapper movement, because you can go and pay somebody a few dollars to mess up their life, to go and harm somebody else. Nobody's looking at y'all going, look at these great grand men. Okay. And if you're not living in the hood, why are you even talking about it? And I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that part for years. If you're not living in these environments, why are you even talking about it? Talk about what you know. Talk about the good life that you're living. The good life. Somebody else was just saying that about Gunner. Like this good life that you're explaining in this letter, that's what you should have been talking about in your music. Period. Let that be your canvas. The fact that you got a record deal, the fact that you can go and sit in front of whoever it is that you never thought you would ever meet before. You know, let that be your canvas. Why are you guys out here committing crimes and is talking and bragging about somebody else's death and all this nonsense, and then you don't want to be attached to the case? Well, stop attaching yourself to it. And it's really that simple. And don't look for empathy and sympathy from people, because we're not all out here doing this. We're not all out. Some of us understand that how things go. And I feel like if people were really as street as they claim they are, then they understand that prison system is not where they want to be. You're not as street as you think you are. And if you're okay with going to prison, then that's just what it is. That's because that's where you're going. If you don't end up deceased. So, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why people are allowing this to happen. But at the same time, like a lot of people are saying, it's really just about money. They don't care. These little young black men are disposable in their minds. So they're going to sit there and influence them or encourage them to keep doing this stuff so they can make money off of it. You know, you're not even going to be alive to have anything to say about it. And who cares about your family that's coming up out the ghetto trying to speak up for you, right? Isn't that how they look at it? Like, who cares about these people? So, yeah, I don't know. I just hope that people start to wake up, and the people that who have the courage to speak up will do it and tell these kids to cut it out. Because, it's just like that drug epidemic from the 90s. Don't nobody care that all those people lost their life to crack addiction? Whether they were addicted to crack or they were thrown in the prison system for selling it and gave up 50, 30, 40 years of their life. Nobody cares about those people, and they out here now trying to find jobs and can't get a job because people are going to hold these records and stuff against them. No one cares. Nobody wants to hear your story. So people need to think about that stuff before they do it, while they have the opportunity. And of course, we're talking to young people because you're the ones who are doing it. you know and I don't know where your parents are. I don't know, and everybody don't have that anyway. Some of these kids are growing up in the system because of that drug epidemic. They probably were raised in the system. And so it's a lot of things that play into it, that we're not talking about, and we're not trying to work on getting our people in a better situation. Even just with conversation, people out here talking crazy about a bunch of stuff that don't matter. you know, like on the for real side, like let's just be honest about that. People are out here spending a lot of time talking about a lot of stuff that's delusional and that don't even matter at the end of the day, right? Because they don't want to deal with the reality of a lot of other stuff that's real. Um, but I just wanted to come on and talk about that, because when you see cases like this where someone is really going to jail and they can use those lyrics, because it's very clear. You guys can go to his YouTube page and hear it for yourself. You can hear him in that song, Make It Home. That is what the story of making it home is about. Making it home from these robberies. Okay. So for you to go and put that in a song and think that somebody won't come and follow you, even though you only had 200 hits on there, half of those 200 hits probably was police departments from around the country. Let's go on and be real about that. trying to see if your story is matching up to something that happened in their city. I don't know if he's on Spotify. He could be on Spotify and some of these other platforms, because I think all you have to do is create an account and you can just upload your music. But he put out several songs. It's not just the Make It Home song, it's a few songs. And it's a couple other songs where he kind of talks about jugging people in his life of crime or whatever, which makes no sense for you to set yourself up like that, to me. Now if people can explain it in the comments, please do. But I just wanted to come back with this story because I feel like this is relevant to what's going on in Georgia and in Miami or whatever city it is in Florida, because they have some cases that are going out there as well that came up last year. So all of this stuff is relevant because these people who are going to sit on these juries, these judges, these lawyers, these people that work in, who claim that they're out here trying to keep us safe and all this stuff, they're hearing this stuff. They're seeing people really doing the stuff that they're saying, and they're making that connection. And people need to use common sense at the end of the day. I don't care who don't like what I say. You should be using common sense when you're putting these songs out here. And I'm sorry that these record companies, these producers, the Charlemagnes, the academics, all the rest of these fake ass people are not telling y'all the truth. They're sitting here watching you guys go to jail because they don't care. Because anytime you're creating sensationalized stories for them to talk about and make money off of it, they're going to make money off of the fact that you're going to jail. They're going to make money off the fact that you're going to come up dead. And I said what I said. I don't care who don't like it. Because if you were any different than what I'm saying, you would be doing different, right? We wouldn't even be having these conversations because this shit is crazy and it only is going on in the Black community. So y'all make it make sense and make it make sense to me. And yeah, we are responsible for each other. Because when something happened to Charlemagne, he gonna want his mama or whoever gonna come out here wanting somebody to care. Okay. When something happened to academics, his mama and the rest of whoever is gonna come out here expecting somebody to care. Just like y'all came running out here expecting somebody to care about Kevin Samuels, about that boy that was stabbed up in Florida. So I said what I said. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments. Do you guys get how people can tie all of this stuff together, regardless of where it's happening? Um, when you're having stories and headlines like this, how people can make the connection to rap music, right? And that's what they're going to do in these situations. And, I don't know what Gunner and Young Thug are saying in their music like that. It's a couple songs that I do like by Young Thug. I've heard a couple songs from Gunner, but to say that I'm like diving into their music, I'm not. This is not my generation. This is not what I do. I grew up when hip hop when you had options, you had layers. I can listen to Arrested Development. I could if I don't want to listen to NWA. Okay, so I can listen to Public Enemy or X Clan or Paris, who was out of the Bay Area, if I didn't want to listen to E40, if I didn't want to listen to Do or Die, if I didn't want to listen to Biggie, right? I can listen to other people. You guys don't have options. All of y'all stuff is going in one direction. And it's a bunch of foolishness at the end of the day. Nobody's saying nothing. Nobody cares about nothing you know um and that's kind of the direction that the music for the most part is going. Yeah, y'all keep throwing two names out there, but these people cannot sit there and keep pushing out music all the time. I think the Kendrick and J. Cole and whatever, y'all throw these names out there, but that's only two people. Like, there was a whole set of rappers who did not stoop to these levels of talking about how they ready to die and they in a life of crime. And to be honest, even the people that were classified as street, they were not doing stuff like this. because otherwise we would have been hearing about stuff like this happening back then. And like I said in another video, all the folks that I kind of grew up on, they still alive. All these old heads that y'all talk about, all these old heads that's still out here, the this they was popping. They was the real. They was it. They made it possible for you to be here. Okay, and they still here for the most part. The majority of them are still here. And so that kind of lets you know, like, y'all got people that's dying at 30. Y'all got people dying at 25 and 21 and 19. And, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. Before you can even get out the gate, your life is over. Um, but let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments about him putting this in the music. Like I said, the Make It Home song is the one that they are focused on, but he actually says it in a couple of those other songs that's on his YouTube page as well. And I don't know if the page is still up at this point, but it was up last week when I went to it, because I kind of wanted to hear the song for myself, to see if he really was saying these things, and he is. He's actually saying it in the music. But let me know what you guys think about stuff like this. Do you think these rappers should just change the way they put this music out? And I guess because people could just upload their own music and make a name for themselves, they don't necessarily have to go by a way of a record deal. Maybe that's a part of it, because I don't know who has a record deal and who don't. I'm really not on it like that. Like, there's a few people, like I said, a few people that I like, and that's it. I'm not trying to like get off into whatever is going on out here today, because I don't agree with it, and that's just me being very real. I just don't, and so I'm not gonna waste my time on stuff that I can't buy into. Um, but I do wonder why people are not telling him to cut it out, to knock this stuff off, And then Kevin Lyle's out here crying and stuff. It's like, you should have been telling these boys all this stuff before they even got to this point. You know, y'all should be making it a point to hold meetings with all these little artists, that don't nobody even know who they are, but they have all this money that they flashing, and then they want to come out and say that, well, the money is not real, and so people don't know what's real and what's not. And if I don't know what's real and what's not, then guess what? The police don't know what's real and what's not. So guess what? They're gonna look into it, and that only makes sense to me. You shouldn't be expected to be left alone. And they're trying to use this thing about, oh, they talk about killing and death. Yeah, they talk about killing and death in other genres of music, but are they going in and out of jail? Because I see people saying that, but are those people getting arrested? Are they going in and out of jail? Are they out here living a life of crime? They're out here knocking off the ATM machines and they're talking about it. Did their wife come up dead? I mean, how? What is your point in making that and even saying that? That's, let me get off of here, because I didn't have you guys on spending a lot of time talking about this. But yeah, I hear people try to make that point about what other people are doing in other genres of music. However, if these people are not actually committing crimes that they're talking about, see, what's happening is these people are being attached to people who are actually committing crimes. I think that's what the DA was trying to say. Like, we'll have to wait and see how that young thug and gunner thing play out. But even like I said, it's the cases in Florida as well, right? Where people are being tied to people's murders and stuff. And then they're talking about it in songs. So we don't get to pretend like that's not what's really going on, if that is what's really going on. And we don't get to pretend like those black people who lost their life, their blackness now don't matter because you're black too. We don't get to use that way. I'm sorry, I don't buy into that. And that's just me. But you guys can let me know what you think about it. Do you think that it's okay for these rappers to sit out here and say all this stuff and tie themselves to people's murders and crimes and stuff that's going on in their cities, but then they don't want to be charged for the crimes that they're talking about in their music? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.